Hi there, friends. I'm Scott Wakefield, lead pastor of First Christian Church of Greene County. And today, why are you laughing already? We're not even past my first line.
I was already thinking about
Nathan. I'm here with Nathan Dickerson, who is our comms director and has already been playing out these 45 minutes in his head for the last many days. So he's already got... He's already got his jokes ready. Let's start this from the beginning. Hi there, folks. I'm Scott. Wow, this is gonna be.
That's a redo.
This is gonna be really fun.
take two.
I'm with
Nathan Dickerson.
and we're gonna have a. Are you serious? We should redo?
No, I'm not.
No,
Good,
we're
because
live
we're already
right
live.
now.
People are sitting out there going, "What is going on?"
This is the worst intro I've ever seen.
This is the worst. Can we cut all this in post? Start over, take two. Hi, I'm Scott Wakefield, lead pastor at First Christian Church of Greene County, Tennessee, and I'm with
Nathan Dickerson.
and we're gonna have a
Coffee Convos. Beautiful.
Beautiful. At least we got past the first line. Glad you're here tonight. Coffee Convos is an opportunity to have some good coffee with some good friends. And this is Nathan Dickerson, our comms director, who's already been running through his jokes and answers in his head for our questions tonight.
Just jokes.
Just jokes. Yes. So Nathan's goal is to make himself laugh and hope that you'll join along in that. So even though it will be fun, we do want to actually hear about the work of God in your life in serious ways. So be prepared for that,
I'm
Post
ready.
Malone.
I'm ready.
Maui.
So I go to region.
So we are live, in case that's not clearly obvious by the first 3 minutes. So jump in the comments. Let us know you're here. Ask some questions. And in case you missed some of that earlier on, this is Nathan B. Dickerson. Nathan Bodacious Dickerson. The B stands for Brian, is that right?
Nathaniel Brian Dickerson.
Nathaniel Brian Dickerson. He is our comms director. And so we're going to have some fun hearing about the work of God in his life. So, Nathan B. Dickerson, where are you from? How did you become who you are today? Tell us some hobbies. Give us a brief history of who you are, some family history, your youth, growing up years, spouse, kids, work, etc.
All right. I was born here
Yes?
in Greene County, Tennessee.
Cool.
I was born at what used to be called Tacoma, I think. Later in life, my mom said, no, it was Laughlin. I was like, one of the hospitals here in town. Grew up here most all of my life.
Okay.
So I'm Greene County, born and raised. Born and raised. Actually did grow up on farms most of my life.
Yes?
Working a lot. Hogs.
Farms,
Yeah.
plural. Lots of farms.
Farms. If we weren't farming our own land, we would help farm other land.
Cool. Yes?
So did a lot of that growing up. Went to Milligan College in between Elizabethton and Johnson City for my degree in the communications of digital medias with a business administration minor.
Media is the plural.
Yes, I know.
Okay.
I found Christ through the student ministry here at FCC. Fun story.
Yes, yes.
I did not come. I always had an excuse until I was told that there are very cute girls here.
Yeah.
And then I came and found something much different than cute girls. I found the love of Jesus.
Yes, indeed.
I always considered this my home church, kept coming back, and here I am on staff as a homegrown FCCer, as you like to say,
Yes, indeed.
and work here
You do. You're a full-time comms man.
full time.
Full-time. We already have questions about this,
Sweet.
and we'll get to them in a bit. So let's talk personality. Nathan Bodacious Dickerson, personality. Tell us 3 words that come to mind that characterize you. If someone who knew you well, for example, would be describing you.
3 words, if someone was describing me,
Yes?
that come to mind.
That come
Someone
to
that
mind.
knew me.
Someone that knew you well, for example.
Can I hyphenate words? Unnecessarily ridiculous. No, I would say. How about this? Why don't you describe me in three words?
No. I asked the questions.
Oh, okay. The boss has spoken.
I was about to say, by the way, friends, if you're coming on as a guest someday, I won't say that to you, but I will to Nathan.
Yes.
Yeah.
Open to ridicule. I would say I am probably, I don't know, I'm goofy.
Okay.
That's
one of three.
I don't know. The Bible says to let others speak to your character.
That's one of three.
I try to be reliable.
Okay. Reliable
And-
meaning like faithful in saying I will do this, and keeping your yes and no.
Consistent and keeping my yeses.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
But that also comes with the side where I just say no if I don't feel like it or want to make the commitment.
So you're faithful to say no when you. Yeah. No, that's true of you. That's true. Yes and no.
And
so goofy, reliable, good.
I guess you could say the word vulnerable. Like as in I try not to be fake. I just try to be honest. In ways people can handle. But I'm not always great at that. Honest about how I feel in the moment and if I'm stressed about it and if I do or don't want to do it or etc.
So tell us.
Etc.
Thank you for correcting the ek to the et. Yes. So you said the vulnerable piece in ways people can handle. What do you mean by the implication of some ways that people don't want to hear? Meaning you're willing to go deep.
I'm always willing to bust down a door that was cracked. Yes, metaphorically speaking. Which is my roommate, one of my closest friends, Hunter Snelson, likes to say I give advice when not asked for often. That's part of that.
Hunter's how you got here.
Yes, he is. And the thing that got me here was him finally saying, hey, that girl that you think is cute, hey, she goes there. I was like, what time? So just because I'm feeling a certain way doesn't mean that they're feeling the same way.
Right, sure.
Or it doesn't mean that they're in a place in their life where they can handle whatever I feel like puking on them emotionally.
Wow.
So that's emotionally puking.
That's a little much. But you are good at measuring high emotional intelligence, high EQ with other people, what they need, what they don't, what they're ready for, what they're not, and thinking about others in that way. That's something I've noticed about that.
I try.
If that's what you mean by that.
I try, yes.
Yeah. Are you more early or late? Morning or evening? What are you?
Evening. If
yes,
you're talking
you are.
About my awakeness.
Yes.
Awakenedness.
That's the correct answer.
I'm
asleep in about 30
when
minutes.
I worked at church camp,
yes,
there was something about getting up where you were walking through the dew and the sun cracking over the mountain. There's something about that.
That's great.
Yeah, that is awesome and great. And the birds are chirping and everything seems silent. The world's not quite awake yet. But that's not when I'm most productive.
But that's not the natural you.
Correct. I'm still asleep.
Are you more breakfast or dinner? Which do you like better? Not lunch. That's not an option. No, don't do that. Don't go there.
Meat. Unpopular.
That's not even a question.
Unpopular opinion. Pancakes and waffles, same thing. Both overrated. Boom. I said it on air, live. I said it live. If you disagree, comment in the chat below.
We've had this discussion before.
So I would say, I guess, dinner foods. But I also will eat breakfast for dinner. But I'll also eat dinner for breakfast. Nothing like
you're eating dinner for breakfast often.
Nothing like a 12-ounce steak
That's
in the morning. I'm just. Wes, Ford, and I will get home. We'll leave the gym. We try to work out at 7:30 most days, and sometimes I'll pick up a big piece of steak on the way home and cook it at 8:39 in the morning.
Wow, that's more than I really was bargaining for in that question.
Oh, okay.
Introvert or extrovert?
I am an extrovert.
Yes.
I love being around people, but the more overwhelming life is or stressed I am, the more I definitely need my day away.
Meaning you've learned that you need to build that into your routine for yourself.
Yes.
Yeah.
I try to make that Sunday afternoons,
Okay.
evenings.
Okay. Thinker or feeler?
Feeler.
Wow. Quick.
I'm a feeler.
Quick response.
I'm an ENFJ.
Yes.
T. ENFJ T. I'm a D followed by an I. I got all the personality traits. But I'm a feeler, but I'm also a deep thinker. But in terms of the test itself for Myers-Briggs, I am a feeler.
Like,
I think about it, but I also respond very much or come from an emotional place.
are you like a high F or
I probably have a picture on my phone somewhere.
do you remember?
I want to say like 63% towards F or something like that.
It sounds like it if you were the T on the 16 personalities one. Yeah.
Yes.
Are
turbulent.
you more silly or more serious? This is a hard one for you.
Depends on the time of day, I guess.
It's not. No.
Am I more silly or more serious?
Generally, would you say about yourself?
I love to laugh.
I don't think anybody would say they don't like laughing. I just that laughing thing.
I'd say it's somewhere. I don't know. I would say it's fairly close to somewhere in the middle because
That's not the question. Nathan, more silly or more serious? It's acceptable, whatever you say.
serious.
I would agree.
Seriously silly.
No, I would agree. I think you're a little more serious than silly. You like to be silly.
Well, even the way I'm thinking about the question, I would say probably is an indication that I'm thinking seriously about the question.
Yes,
But I mean,
you're being a goober.
who else opens up coffee convos just with laughter? What's your name? I don't know, but I'll laugh instead.
I'm still reeling from embarrassment at the beginning of this coffee convos.
That's my goal in life.
I'm going to stay up tonight going, oh.
Embarrassing Scott.
Any other personality things about you that would be interesting for people to know?
I don't know.
Tell us something about you most people don't likely know.
Don't likely know?
I think growing up on farms and being
Yeah,
that's
I grew up
a
on
big
farms.
part of your growing up years that I don't think people are aware of.
Um,
Anything else like that most people don't likely know about you? And then we'll get to some questions because we got some
I don't know.
questions.
In college, I
Ooh.
did a rap tour through 5 colleges.
Yes.
I went back the other day and listened to the studio versions of some of them, and one was at least absolute trash.
Yeah.
It was good in person, but terrible on the recording.
We gotta break out some of that in our comms world here.
So I'm pretty avid fan of that genre of music, I would
Okay.
say. I've flown a plane.
You have flown a plane?
Pow.
Like this? Like
Yeah, like if I did that, we would have died. I was in control of a plane.
When was that?
My friend worked at the Greenville airport in high school, and I would go sometimes and hang out with him, and he had access to the Cessnas, and he would let me fly sometimes.
We should probably cut that out of the post-production and not let anybody know that.
No,
I think.
he owned one of the planes there. He owned a Cessna. Yeah, no. Yes.
All right.
We had to steal planes.
Okay. So we have some questions.
Perfect.
By the way, we already had a comment that said, hey, that's the dude from Moana.
Yes, Maui. I was Maui this past Halloween, actually.
Why don't you show us your hair?
I don't think so.
Why don't you bring it
I
down?
don't think, you know
Why
what?
don't you let us
This is...
let us see the majesty.
Clip that, meme it. Scott called my hair Majesty, okay?
Slash ridiculousness.
I
Okay.
already took my hat off for this.
All right. Post Maui Malone. What does a comms director do exactly? Name some things. Let the people know. There's a lot that you do.
A lot
Thing after thing after thing
yeah.
after thing.
Pretty much, I would say the easiest way to sum it up is if you see it from us, FCC, I've seen it first. This is the easiest way to sum it up.
Okay.
I do everything from helping manage emails, texts, social media, other messaging systems like Drift, which is through our website. I help manage our website. I manage our app.
You would typically be sending me the questions on my watch.
I would actually.
Yes.
Wes Ford, tech director, stepped in. Thank you, Wes. Shout out. Woo, woo. But usually I'm the person there moderating.
Yeah.
Not on Sunday mornings, though. I've got a
Yeah.
team for that.
Mm-hmm.
So if FCC is commenting on something or responding to you, I'd say 85% of the time at least it's me.
Website,
Sometimes it's Scott, that's
Sure.
you. And then sometimes it's other volunteers.
managing the website,
Website,
putting
app,
together a lot of graphics.
social media.
helping with-
Totally forgot about graphics. Yeah,
Yeah.
graphics. Working a lot with Wes, who is
Mhm.
video director.
Mm-hmm.
On things. I write the poll script, send out the emails. If you see a graphic that is not just to your team, but to the whole church, I've most likely made or okayed it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Cool.
I do a lot.
All right. Good. My wife says, we are so thankful for your service, Nathan.
Thank you,
And,
Dogny.
Give everyone an
Oh, trademark.
good question here. Best and hardest part. Best and hardest part of working on a church staff.
Best and hardest part about working on a church staff.
Yes.
I would say the best part.
Of working with me. Nah.
The best part is working with Scott Wakefield.
There we go. Best part.
Clip it, meme it.
Yeah.
I would say the best part. Let me start with the hardest part. The hardest part for me
Working with Scott Wick.
is the hardest part about working on a church staff for me.
Yeah.
So far, the biggest thing that God has to teach me, to help me grow in,
Yeah.
is my struggle with pride and perfectionism. There's a difference between seeking excellence for the kingdom and seeking perfection that comes from a place of pride and thinking that you can actually do something perfectly in a way that only God can. So,
Yeah. That's a good answer.
no. So for me, I've had to grow a lot in that because we named a lot of the things I do, but not in detail. It's a lot of the way things look and the way things are written and things where details are what I do. I pinpoint those. I try to work on those. And my perfectionistic, works-based righteousness kicks in. And I want to not let go of my own ideals. And early on, some of the staff, like Tyson Hodge, helped me call it marrying my work. And it came from pride for me. It came from my sense that what I did, how I did it, was what defined me. So learning the difference between that and pursuing excellence.
That's good.
Instead of getting to the end of the day and saying, did I do everything good enough? I get to the end of the day and try to ask, Tommy Staggs helped me formulate this question, was I faithful
Right.
with what I did?
Yeah.
And there's a big difference. Still working on it, still working through it. So one of the nicest things about working at a church staff is everyone else in similar places talking about it and understanding that what we do is kingdom work and it's difficult and it's hard and it doesn't stop when you get home and it carries with you wherever you go. And having people around you that understand and know that is probably one of the best parts. People who are in the trenches with you, so to speak, doing ministry.
Good stuff.
Boom.
Boom.
Also, we're drinking coffee. Real coffee.
That's one of the best things.
It's drying out my mouth.
Top 2 favorite music groups.
Music groups.
Acts, people, groups.
Top 2.
It does say groups. We have a limited amount of time now.
I don't know. It's gonna take me too long to figure that one out. Top 2 groups. I don't know. I mean, high school, I got really into the 116 Click from Reach Records.
I don't have any clue what
That was
any
in
of
high school.
those words mean.
It was.
Of the range of the top 20 you could pick, name a couple. Doesn't have to be the top 2. Just name a couple that come to mind. So that we can get to the end of this interview before dawn.
Sure. I don't know.
You're seeing Nathan Dickerson in action.
Well, here's what I'm really. I don't know if you want me to say some of the people I listen to.
Christian music. groups or acts.
Okay, Christian music groups, sure.
Or
I like Elevation Worship.
okay, that's one.
Fun fact.
Fun fact.
I went to a Matt Maher album release party.
Wow,
once.
really?
Boom. Yeah.
He's Catholic.
Indeed.
You know that?
I found out when I was there.
Yeah.
That was the first time I figured that out. So I like Elevation Worship.
Yeah.
In terms of Christian groups, and I like Andy Mineo.
Who and what about?
He is a rapper. Andy Mineo.
I believe you.
Yes.
Cool. I think I actually have heard of him.
He's good.
What graphic that you've made
Oh no.
is your favorite?
That's pretty easy. I dislike most of my work. So there's one that no one has actually seen yet that is probably one of my favorite works. And it is a standing sign for our Afton campus.
Oh, yeah.
And on one side it just says,
Yeah, I heard you say this last week or so.
"See you next week,
Yeah.
FCC Afton."
Yeah.
And I just kind of did a few creative things that I was like, after seeing it again after like 9 months of making, I was like, wow, that's nice. Yeah.
9 months of making it.
No. Like I had made it like 9 months prior or something like that.
I know. I'm just.
9 months of making it. Yes.
He's very serious about his work. But there are some cool nuances in that. Just slight
Yeah, like
little
the
things
FCC actually comes over the words above it a little bit, and
Yeah.
behind it is like our FCC arrows.
Yeah, it looks
like
great.
faded out, and,
Mhm.
and it looks pretty neat. And,
Yeah, it does.
Yes.
And you made that.
Yeah, I did.
Boom. It's good. We'll have some other questions. We've got a couple more here to get to, but we'll come back. So, thinking back over the course of your life,
Yes.
Nathan B. Dickerson, who are some influential people in your walk with Christ? Who have been significant people teaching you about Jesus' life, work, ministry, and why do you count them as such?
I would say Tommy Staggs.
Okay.
I mean, you're gonna know some of these names because this is where I found my faith and was formed in my faith. Tommy Staggs was student minister when I went to 180 for the first time, and
What grade were you? Freshman?
freshman-ish,
Right. Okay.
in high school.
Yep.
And he helped me a lot, mentored me a lot. Hunter and I would be here a lot, trying to work off things we couldn't afford. Lots of time around him.
Yeah.
Definitely different from what I was used to. His leadership, his care, that kind of stuff. So, that was very formative for me. And then I would say post-college, Scott Wakefield.
Mm.
Oh.
Wow. Tell us more about that.
My now mentor.
Tell us
So
why
whatever-
that's so significant.
Whatever horrible theology I have, it came from FCC.
Yeah, do tell all that, please.
No. So currently, you're helping me a lot in theology. I would say a book I read by C.S. Lewis in high school called Mere Christianity was quite formative at the time for me.
Cool. That's actually one of the questions we're going to get to that was put in there
About a book?
about a book.
Oh, wow. That's one of the only like 3 I've ever read. So.
Wow, that's good. Romans, Mere
So
Christianity.
those were very formative,
Mhm.
I would say. And a few others along the way that weren't as long term, but were there and faithful in their everyday small things in ways that meant they made enough of an impact to help shape me.
Along those lines, what makes for a good leader?
What makes a good leader? I would say consistency, reliability, strength in their faith. I could probably sum up a lot in those 3. Someone who is faithful in a way that means every time you see them, you're not having to guess what to expect. They care about what they're doing that day in a way that means they're working for Christ. They're thinking about God. They're thinking about mission. And it's consistent enough that when the rest of the world seems to constantly change, that seems to always bend its opinion, its thoughts, what it calls truth, there's someone who is there, who is reliable, who has stayed the course through the test of time in ways that give evidence of the Spirit. I would say also a lack of fear and accountability with others.
Nice.
'Cause not a lot of people will just say, hey, this isn't okay.
So the courage part to say what's needed that may not be fun to hear, but that
Yes.
what makes you say that?
Why that makes a good leader?
Or you've experienced that, or what prompts your thinking in that regard about the courage thing?
I think it's not normal for a sinful person to want to hold themselves or someone else accountable. They rather have someone who just says, yeah, I understand, and do what you need to do, and
You do you.
be who you are.
You do you.
Instead of saying, this is unhealthy for you.
Right.
And I'm not going to leave after I say this,
Right.
which is part of the consistency.
Yeah.
But this is something no one else is saying to you that I think you need to hear. I think a lot of places you go become an echo chamber where you're told that whatever you do is okay. And it's enabling. And it's not helpful in the long term.
It enables what?
It enables sin to continue to exist in the ways and patterns they are, either from you or against you.
That's
It
good,
also,
Nathan.
It also enables
B.
you.
Dickerson.
It also enables you to think it is okay, because it's being normalized by whoever you're with.
Yeah, that's good. And that gets that accountability thing and group accountability piece. That you didn't say group accountability, but with the reliability and the courage and the accountability piece put together. That's good.
Cheers.
Good coffee convo comment. Post.
I think most people don't like that, but they know it's what they need at the end of the day as well. I will say that. Because I've been there. Like, I would reject it for a long time, but
We all do.
at the end of the day,
We all
that's
do.
someone you could still go back to and they don't change. They're there, they're willing, and they're ready. So. And that's not just in those terms. That's too, like, holding yourself accountable and letting other people hold you accountable. For instance, like in your job, in your schoolwork. Not just like in reading your Bible and praying and whatever, but whatever you are doing.
It's good stuff.
So, like cleaning your room. I mean, like.
Thank you, Jordan Peterson. We have a lot of questions here tonight.
Sweet.
Yeah. So let's do a few questions, then we'll get back to you and Jesus.
Sweet.
What do you enjoy doing in your spare time, if you have any? Making graphics for First Christian Church, and
I used to not have a lot of spare time, especially when the Nice Swanger Performing Arts Center was open.
and that
I would
was
work there on the
a
weekends.
part-time job for you.
Part-time there, full-time here.
Yep.
They're currently closed for COVID reasons. But I would easily work 70, 90-hour week. So my free time was like a lunch here and a dinner there. But now that I have been trying to do a better job at not being a workaholic and taking a day off, I would say at the moment it's just basically doing much of nothing, which is nice at the moment. And so that has kind of morphed into me being more of a homebody than I usually am. I like to go out with friends, but I also currently enjoy putting on Stargate SG-1 and playing Minecraft on 2 different devices. I have a 32-inch TV I'll bring into the living room. I'll play Minecraft, and then I'll put on SG-1. Like, that's just what. So, Netflix and game, like, lots of stimulus apparently. And just sit there and
Stargate
relax.
And okay.
Yeah, I mean, right now at least.
Are there any other shows you like?
I've watched tons of shows. Like
Give us some favorites. Frasier, West Wing,
I'm not Chris Carlson.
or Scott Wakefield.
Who's in the room?
Yeah.
Cheers, Scott. I would say, okay, lots of shows. So, Hunter and I actually have a few shows together. Then we have some shows with other friends. And then I have some of my own shows. And then I have some shows with those friends.
That's like 4 categories of shows
Yeah.
related to relationships.
So, Hunter and I sometimes will watch, like, Dream SMP server together.
I have no clue what that
We'll watch Minecraft YouTube. Or we'll watch a show on Netflix, which I think right now we're watching Sphinx, something about some fairies thing. I don't know. It's fairly good.
Yeah.
Clearly. Witcher, The Flash, Green Arrow back when it was on. Anything CW, like 90% of that, and like their entire broadcasting, I watch.
CW is a network, right?
Yes.
Okay.
SG1 I started watching because I watched it in like elementary school, and it came on Netflix. I was like, boom.
Wow.
I started like a month or so ago, and I'm through 8 seasons almost.
Yeah, we're done with the show question. It's not working. So. That's the relationship.
Too many shows to get through.
Yeah, we're done with that.
That's fine.
We're done. So we got lots of questions. All
It's
right, let's get on
entertaining.
it.
I hope it's entertaining. Thanks for
get on
joining, everyone.
They're like, we got to get some questions going because it's not that good. If you could move and live anywhere, where would it be?
One of 2 places.
Nashville,
or like
I knew that was going to be one of them.
Bora Bora.
Bora Bora.
Yeah, just somewhere like,
Can you even place that on the map?
yes, kind of. But it's also more of a vacation spot, not a living place. But like Hawaii, somewhere nice and like tropical that like just seems neat. I don't know, I'll work at a coffee shop there.
Cool.
Or Nashville, go back into some music business stuff or something. And
Nathan, do you think Scott should grow a beard?
I would love if Scott could grow a beard.
Wow. Publicly shaming me. How do you feel do you feel better about yourself?
You should grow.
What
Do you feel better about asking me if I feel better?
What does that say about you that you feel the need to publicly shame me about
am insecure.
my inability to grow a beard?
I'm insecure.
That's true. Tell us more.
I'm
Unpack
angry.
that.
I'm bitter.
Clearly.
I have pride.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we're friends. So, yes, it'd be awesome.
I can technically grow a beard. It just is not
Be
pretty.
awesome,
It's
I
just
think.
not pretty. Man, we got a million questions here. Holy
awesome.
moly.
I was afraid like 2 people would watch, so this is better.
Yeah.
Or it's just one person spamming questions, and I appreciate that too.
There's a little bit of that going on.
Which is great. Love it.
There's definitely a little bit of that going on. Okay, so next question. What is the most influential book you've read? C.S. Lewis, Mere Christianity.
I think,
Romans.
now if we're talking book of the Bible,
It's a book.
Romans.
Okay.
I'm in Romans right now.
Yeah.
I love Romans. So far, I've been studying deeper into my theological beliefs, where they come from, and what scripture they're actually rooted on or not rooted on.
Okay.
And so I'm reading Romans right now, and it's a very convicting book. Lots of truth in there about the depravity of my own nature that would not choose God.
Ooh, let's unpack that.
I would love to talk about it. I love, again, if the door's cracked, I will bust through.
No, we're done. What part of your job do you enjoy the most and the least? It's a little bit akin to that one we asked earlier, but
Part of my job do I enjoy most and least?
yeah. And then we're going to get back to some relationship with Jesus stuff.
Sure. We could have went through with Romans. I would say the part I enjoy the least is I'm not really sure like the answer exactly to this question. I enjoy running around with the camera. I do enjoy that some. So when I get the chance to do that and just take photos, like
And-
when we
and-
did,
and-
boom, here's my answer.
Yeah, go ahead.
When we had camp in the city,
Yeah.
and all I did almost that entire week was just run out with the camera,
Tell the story of what's
make
going
quick
on.
videos at the end of the day,
Yep.
and just publish that stuff. Like
Yeah.
I really enjoyed that.
Mhm.
That was one of my favorite weeks here, as well as one of my favorite parts of this job is going to Watermark, Dallas, for some refueling.
Yeah.
One of my least favorite parts about the job, was that the question? Is
Most and least.
from my struggle, I really do have a hard time getting away from my job, I think. And so it can become stressful and overwhelming because there is a million tasks to be done all the time. There's nothing short of something to do.
And they're not just tasks. They are things that are related to people all the time.
Because like my job isn't as simple. Let's say we wanted to, put something about your ministry thing in a pulse link, right? Well, how do you get a link? Well, you got to have a web page. Now, how do you have a web page? What do you need for that? You need words. Well, how do you need words if you have no idea what you're saying about it? So then there's a lot of parts to making one simple thing happen in my job. And so it can become overwhelming at times.
It's complex because there are lots of steps to do one thing that the end product looks like, there's that one thing. But there's a lot behind it.
And you can't have a web page that has one sentence on it.
And a lot of your stuff integrates with a lot of ministry areas.
Yes.
And getting a lot of information. And so once you get one piece of information, you often have to ask another person or two to make sure that it's correct, we're on the same page, etc.
I think I need to be one of the most informed FCCers.
Yeah.
Or else I can't communicate what I don't know.
Yeah.
So that's hard.
Good questions, people. Good questions,
yes.
y'all. What quality or trait that is not a strength are you wanting to develop?
Quality or strength?
What quality or trait that is not a strength are you wanting to develop?
I would say two things. Rest. My life has not taught me how to rest well. And secondly, I'm not very great at delegating.
Okay.
For two reasons, or maybe three. The first is...
Well, actually 7. Hold on.
Yeah. Like giving away in training. Training takes longer than me doing it. I don't necessarily trust that people are going to do it the way I would want to do it. So, time, trust, and also my lack of desire to work with people sometimes.
Your lack of desire to work with people.
Yeah.
Clarify. What do you mean by that?
Well, the word lack means... I can be stressed.
Yeah.
And done with people pretty quick sometimes. Because I love to joke, I do love to laugh, but like we established earlier, I'm a deep thinker and also fairly serious thinker.
And you have a pretty specific vision about what you think is the right or good or helpful way to do something, express something, show something.
And most of the time I've thought through the details of why I think it should be that way.
Yes.
And so it's sometimes like you're already walking into an argument because I feel like, and Wes helped me talk through some of this because we had to work on our relation and the transition of comms and tech and video and comms. Sometimes it's like you're just automatically walking into an argument because I've already figured out the solution in my own head and have my reasons for why.
Right.
And I'm just ready for you to argue and tell me the details or reasons you think it should not be. So,
no.
But I
it's good.
Also feel, that's where the feeler comes in for me. I feel a lot of burden to lead well, to do well, to care deeply.
Yeah.
And that means people can be exhausting for me sometimes. But I still love people, but I hate people. It's like...
Wow.
Am I allowed to use the word hate?
No.
Somebody bleep that out.
That's not allowed in the Wakefield family or on FCC staff. Few more questions here. I'm going to save that one, Beth Ann. Thank you. As fast as technology changes, you know what the Beth Ann question is. As fast as technology changes, how do you see comms evolving in the next few years? Quickly.
Well, it already changed a lot over the course of last year because of COVID. I would say we were working on, of course, splitting my job up, and Wes Ford took half of that with some other pieces he was already doing. And as soon as we kind of took those roles, good thing, well, even if we expected it to be like, oh, now our jobs will be a little easier and it doesn't feel as overwhelming, We had like 14 video things, and everything's recorded now. Lots was streamed at the time, and we need more posts. We need more communication. We need more text. We need more emails. Like, we need more things because
Who's telling you all these things?
People are home and they're not coming, and so
Yeah.
if they don't see the pulse, then are they getting it? Well,
Yeah.
are they opening if they get it? Should we send it twice? Should we? So
A lot of that, I mean, some of that was some qualitative differences, meaning we were doing some things differently than we were before. But a lot of what you just described was quantitative differences.
well, this is new too.
Yes.
And if I'm doing an okay job here at FCC, I have communicated to people, hey, this thing's happening, you should tune in enough ways that they do tune in.
And we're doing it in a way that is helpful for people, that is interesting, that helps them learn about the work of God in their lives, etc. And so that's helpful for them. Yeah. Good stuff. Favorite childhood memory? You must wrap your answer.
My favorite childhood memory. Oh dear. There's no way I can do that in time.
Thank you, April. She says, appreciate all you do for FCC and building the kingdom.
Thank you, April, for serving on my team.
Abby says, how long is your hair now?
Pretty long.
That's a good question.
It's
very
like,
long. What the?
I mean, it's like middle
Really?
of my back almost, yeah.
Dude.
But it's also like curly little, so it's like,
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's a beast.
It's like, wow.
It's majestic. It's a huge mane.
I don't know about all that.
It's a mane.
Maybe I'll end this episode.
You don't have
taking
hair.
my
You
hair
have.
down.
Ooh, let's do that.
Maybe.
That sounds good.
Because I've not really publicly done that yet.
That's exciting. We'll end on that note.
What have I done?
I'm not, now that we've said that, I'm like, wow, I don't.
It's a lot of pressure.
That is. So, what are you seeing and learning because of COVID?
So part of my answer to what makes a good Christian, what makes a good leader, is my answer to what makes a good Christian.
Okay.
I think everyone is leading somewhere in their life. Everyone is given a certain amount of authority about a certain amount of people, and we're tasked with stewarding that well for the kingdom of God. So
That's right.
everyone in their own right is a leader because they love Jesus. So for me, I think you've seen a lot of people's a few things, good and bad. I'll say a few good things, and I'll say a bad thing that comes along with it. I think you've seen people learn how to adapt and maintain those responsibilities.
Okay.
And I think you've also seen
You mean
people,
during a time of challenge?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And you've also seen people who have failed to do the same. And I think your faith is shown to be strong or not strong based on, like, for instance, I'm trying not to speak too plainly or bluntly, just because I don't want to insult anyone. Because everybody's in a different position in life, and I don't know everyone's stories.
Well, some of that strength can be different for different people in different
Right.
situations. Sure.
Um,
And it may look like weakness, but it,
I think the strength of your faith is tested when times are hard, and everyone gets to learn along their own lines and levels and story,
Yeah.
as well as what their friends and where their friends are and some of that stuff, where their faith is weak or where it's strong. And so I think as Christians, we've gotten to see that within each other. We've gotten to see where fear takes over for some, where erratic pride takes over for others, and so on and so forth. So I forgot what the question was, but hopefully that's an answer.
That is an answer. That is technically an answer for a question. What is God currently teaching you, Nathaniel Brian Dickerson?
Lots of things. Lots. I would say, first, I've mentioned a lot of them. Rest. What is a pattern of rest that's healthy? Like, what does that look like? Second would be, I'm not God.
What do you mean by that?
As in, there are ways that my actions speak to a belief that I'm Him in ways I'm not always aware of. And so he's teaching me, you can't, my mission does not rely on if you did it good enough.
So,
Perfect enough. Let's say perfect enough. My mission relies on you being faithful to me,
yeah,
not you doing it for me.
yeah.
I'm not doing
only-
it in place of God. I'm doing it because he has given me the ability to come along with what he's doing. So he's teaching me that. He's teaching me that he's teaching me a lot of things.
What are you excited or
Contentment. He's teaching me contentment.
What word did you just use? Contentment? Was that what you said?
Yes.
I don't know if you're aware of this yet, people, but he's been working on this little move.
I think it's funny.
It is kind of funny.
What do I do with my hands?
Two last questions. We need to end this ridiculousness because people are sitting there going, too many weird
Or they're
insights.
enjoying it.
I'm sure that's what they're doing.
Entertainment.
What are you excited or encouraged about?
I think I
Other
might
than
pierce my lobes soon.
You're fired.
What am I encouraged?
A face tattoo.
Tattoo, neck tattoo. What am I encouraged or excited about?
Yes. Other than my preaching.
How?
Recurring joke.
Yes. Oh, I like every Sunday is so exciting for me. Like as soon as Scott opens his mouth, I'm just like, I've lived for this.
I was coming along with you until you said that part.
And I was
like, yes, that's true. Oh, no, that's silly.
I would say I'm excited about.
And then I have one last question after this.
I know for sure where I'm.
I'm sure you.
I would say as I am growing and learning a lot of things and being challenged to consider the darkness of my heart and get rid of the ideals that the good comes from me and things along that nature, as I continue to dive into Scripture, I am becoming more and more excited about what it has to teach and reform me with. More than I ever have in the past, even though now I'm reading stuff in a way that's harder than I used to.
Yeah.
Which also,
So
in its own
though
turn, brings me some more peace and comfort.
Right. Even though the intake of those things are harder to
Accept, believe,
trust,
live out.
Yes. What's the positive part of that? The hope.
I actually get out of the way, so to speak.
Uh-huh.
Like I can, not that I somehow hold back the plan of God, but like I am in the way of me doing. No, let me say it this way. I am in the way of me really caring about the mission of God. And the mission of God living itself out in your life is the only thing that really brings you into a place where joy and comfort go beyond circumstance, and accepting that it is my sin, it is my flesh, it is my desire, it is accepting, here's how I would put it personally, accepting that I hate God,
Apart from the Spirit in you.
but He loved me enough to help change my heart.
Yeah.
I was an enemy of God.
Yeah.
Accepting those kind of truths for me have allowed my heart to continue to be broken in ways that are purifying and reconciliatory. Is that a word? Did I say the word right?
That is a word.
Wow.
You said
Bam.
it right. Not sure the context was exactly great. but-
Reforms me.
Yeah.
So I'm excited about death,
Lovely.
apparently.
Excited about the death to self, the daily cross thing.
That's the biggest thing he's teaching me right now, I would say, is death to self.
Yeah.
And it's horrible every day.
And yet, that's exactly what redemption looks like.
Yep.
Which is that's the process of Him using you. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, are you dating anybody?
No.
Would you like to be?
No.
You are a liar. Show us your hair. Let's end on this majesty.
Yes, I would like to be married.
Okay. Sounds good.
All right, as soon as the hair drops, I need some tech people to like immediately cut the string.
We need some background music. We need.
All right, here we go.
Do it. Come on. Come on.
For all the public to see, welcome to the hair.
This is, I mean, it's surprising. Wow.
Can we zoom in on that?
No, can we please?
All right, here we go.
Oh, wow. That is surprising.
It smells pretty nice.
For people, man, it like does suddenly smell different in this room.
I bet it's like really
No lie.
fuzz, like, what do you call this? Poofy.
It is poofy. Yes. It's poofy. It's huge. That thing, man.
Yeah.
That is.
When I wash my hair, which is not every day.
TMI.
No, it's not. It's normal.
Great. Congratulations.
It's like killing a whole animal.
Like killing a whole animal. You mean you look like you have murdered.
Like the wad that ends up like, yeah, it's ridiculous. Yeah.
That is the TMI moment right there, actually.
So.
Yeah, that is. Well, thank you for sharing your life.
Hopefully the hair down was glorifying.
That, whew. I think there's something in Proverbs about...
Don't judge, there's no product in it. Also, Scott's a hat hater. He wouldn't let me wear a hat.
No, I would not.
You're an anti-hatter.
I'm an anti-hatter. I'm an anti-face tattooer. Unless you're Post Malone.
I was him for Halloween once.
I believe it. And you were also Maui.
True.
Thanks for joining us, friends. Thanks for joining us, being a part of Coffee Convos and jumping in the comments to learn more about Nathan Bodacious Dickerson. We're out. That's a wrap.